One biggest mistake blocking your breakthrough. Let me tell you something most people will never hear in their entire lifetime. Your breakthrough is not missing because you're unlucky. It's not missing because you're not smart enough. It's not missing because the world is unfair, or the economy is bad, or people didn't support you. Your breakthrough is being blocked by one mistake, one pattern that keeps repeating every single day, silently, invisibly, right under your awareness. And here's the part that's going to sting a little. You are the one protecting it. The biggest mistake blocking your breakthrough is not failure, it's hesitation, it's waiting. It's the habit of standing at the edge of your potential, seeing exactly what needs to be done, feeling the pull in your chest, and then talking yourself out of it. Again, and again, and again. Most people don't fail because they aim too high. They fail because they negotiate with their fear. They let their emotions vote. They wait until they feel ready. They wait until confidence shows up. They wait until conditions are perfect. And while they wait, life moves on without them. Let me be brutally clear with you. Confidence does not come first. Action comes first. Momentum comes first. Pain comes first. And confidence is the reward for surviving what you thought you couldn't handle. You don't break through by thinking differently for 5 minutes. You break through by deciding once and for all that you are done living at the level of your excuses. Here's what's really happening. Every time you delay the hard thing, every time you avoid the uncomfortable conversation, every time you scroll instead of act, every time you say, I'll start tomorrow, you are training your nervous system to associate comfort with survival and growth with danger. You're not lazy. You're conditioned. And conditioning can be broken, but only with decisive action. Your breakthrough is on the other side of the thing you keep avoiding. Not the thing you don't know how to do, the thing you do know how to do, but don't want to feel while doing it. The rejection, the uncertainty, the embarrassment, the responsibility. Most people are not afraid of failure. They're afraid of who they might become if they actually succeed. Because success demands consistency. Success demands standards. Success demands that you stop telling the old story about who you are. And that's terrifying for the version of you that's been comfortable playing small. You say you want change, but your habits are voting for the same life every day. You say you want more money, more freedom, more impact, but your daily actions are loyal to safety, not growth. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your standards. Let me ask you something, and don't answer this out loud. Answer honestly inside. How long have you known what you needed to do? Months? Years? That knowing, that quiet voice that's not pressure, that's your potential asking for permission. And every time you ignore it, it doesn't go away. It gets heavier. That's why you feel restless. That's why you feel frustrated. That's why motivation videos hit you so hard, because they remind you of a promise you made to yourself and haven't kept yet. The biggest mistake blocking your breakthrough is waiting for a feeling instead of making a decision. Decisions shape destiny, not intentions, not hopes, not affirmations you don't back up with action. A real decision is something you act on even when you don't feel like it. Especially when you don't feel like it. You don't need more information, you need more resolve. Your mind will always try to protect you from discomfort. That's its job. But your job is to lead. And leaders don't wait for certainty. They create it through motion. Think about this, every level of your life has required a version of you to die. The old habits, the old excuses, the old identity, and right now you're standing at the edge of another level, but you're trying to bring the old version of you with you. It doesn't work that way. Breakthroughs are violent in a quiet way. They shatter routines, they disrupt relationships, they force honesty, they demand that you stop lying to yourself about how much effort you're actually giving. And here's the truth nobody likes to say, you don't need to be pushed. You need to be pulled by something bigger than your comfort. A standard so high that excuses can't breathe in its presence. Decide who you are when it's hard. Decide what you do when no one is watching. Decide that your future matters more than your temporary mood. Because one day, if you don't change, you'll wake up and realize the pain of discipline would have been nothing compared to the pain of regret. Your breakthrough isn't blocked by the world. It's blocked by the moment you choose comfort over courage. And the moment you stop waiting, the moment you move messy, scared, uncertain, everything changes. Listen to this carefully, because this is where most people lose their life without ever realizing it. Not in a dramatic failure, not in one big collapse, but in the quiet everyday moment where they hesitate, where they pause, where they tell themselves, I'll do it later, not knowing that later is where dreams go to suffocate. The mistake isn't that you don't know what to do. The mistake is that you keep delaying the moment you become the person who does it anyway. You already feel it. That tension in your chest, that pressure behind your eyes, that low-level frustration that never fully goes away. That's not stress, that's not confusion. That's your potential screaming because it's been ignored for too long. Hesitation feels harmless, it feels logical, it sounds responsible, but hesitation is a slow poison. It trains your nervous system to associate safety with stagnation and danger with growth. Every time you hesitate, you reinforce the belief that comfort is more important than truth. And the scariest part is this, the more intelligent you are, the better you get at justifying hesitation. You don't freeze because you lack courage. You freeze because your mind is powerful enough to build convincing stories that protect you from discomfort. Stories like, I'm not ready yet, I need more information, the timing isn't right, once I feel confident, then I'll move. And meanwhile, time keeps passing. Opportunities don't wait. Life doesn't pause. The world keeps moving, and you stay the same. Here's what no one tells you. Readiness is a myth. Confidence is a side effect, not a prerequisite. Clarity is born from action, not contemplation. You do not think your way into a new life, you act your way into it. And hesitation is the habit that convinces you that thinking is progress when it's actually avoidance. You don't need another plan. You don't need another video. You don't need permission. You need to stop bargaining with fear like it gets a vote in your future. Every breakthrough you admire in other people came after a moment of internal chaos. They didn't feel prepared. They didn't feel fearless. They felt called and they moved anyway. And that's the difference. Hungry people move while uncertain. Comfortable people wait for guarantees, and guarantees never come. Life doesn't reward hesitation with clarity. Life rewards commitment with momentum. The reason hesitation is so deadly is because it feels invisible. You still look productive. You still look busy. You're researching, planning, organizing, perfecting. But deep down, you know the truth. You know exactly which move you're avoiding. The call you haven't made, the risk you haven't taken, the discipline you haven't enforced. And every time you avoid it, the cost compounds. Not just in missed results, but in self-trust. Because every broken promise to yourself weakens your identity. You start to see yourself as someone who talks but doesn't move, someone who knows better but doesn't do better, and that quiet erosion of self-respect is what kills ambition. Let this land. The pain you're avoiding now does not disappear. It only transforms. It becomes frustration, it becomes resentment, it becomes regret. Discipline hurts, but regret corrodes. Action stings, but stagnation suffocates. And the most dangerous place to live is between knowing and doing. That gap is where anxiety is born. The gap is where confidence dies. Hesitation keeps you addicted to potential instead of results. Potential feels good because it lets you imagine a future without paying the price of becoming it. But life does not reward potential, it rewards execution. The world doesn't care what you could have done. It only responds to what you repeatedly do. And the longer you hesitate, the harder it becomes to move, because now you're not just fighting fear, you're fighting habit. Your nervous system has learned a pattern, discomfort appears, avoidance follows, temporary relief arrives, and your brain says, good, we survived. But survival is not the same as growth, and if you keep choosing survival, you will never feel fully alive. You will live safely, quietly, and unfulfilled, wondering why motivation keeps slipping through your fingers. It's because motivation follows action, not the other way around. You don't need to eliminate fear, you need to stop obeying it. Fear will always show up before a breakthrough, always. If fear disappears, you're aiming too low. The question isn't how to get rid of fear. The question is, who's in charge when it shows up? Because fear speaks loud, but it speaks last only if you let it. Decisiveness is a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. The more you hesitate, the weaker it becomes. This is why small decisions matter. When you delay the workout, delay the work, delay the conversation, delay the start, you're not just postponing progress, you're rehearsing indecision. And indecision becomes identity if you practice it long enough. Here's the brutal truth. No one is coming to push you. No one is coming to save you from your own hesitation. At some point, you either decide that your future is more important than your comfort, or you keep living a life that feels almost right but never fully yours. And almost is the most dangerous word in the human language. Almost fit, almost successful, almost happy, almost brave. Breakthroughs require a moment where you burn the bridge behind you emotionally, where you stop giving yourself the option to retreat, where you decide that the cost of staying the same is finally higher than the cost of change. And that decision doesn't come from inspiration, it comes from honesty. From looking at your life and saying, if nothing changes, this is exactly where I'll be in 5 years. And letting that truth scare you into action. You are not stuck, you are paused. And pause feels safe, but it steals momentum. The moment you move, even imperfectly, energy shifts, ideas sharpen, confidence follows, the fog clears. Not because the path becomes easy, but because movement creates feedback, and feedback creates growth. Stop waiting to feel like the person who deserves the next level. Become them through action. Stop rehearsing outcomes and start rehearsing courage. The future doesn't open up to the smartest thinker, it opens up to the most decisive actor, to the one who moves first and adjusts later, to the one who understands that clarity comes from doing the thing, not thinking about it. You don't need a dramatic transformation. You need a daily refusal to hesitate. One hard choice made quickly, one uncomfortable action taken without negotiation, one promise to yourself kept even when no one is watching, and then another, and another. That's how identities change. That's how breakthroughs are built. The day you stop waiting is the day life starts responding to you differently. Because life mirrors decisiveness. It meets commitment with opportunity, but it ignores hesitation completely. And right now, the only thing standing between you and the version of yourself you respect is the moment you keep postponing, the action you keep delaying, the decision you keep pretending you'll make tomorrow, while today slips through your hands again and again and again.